Welcome students to another chapter in geography, chapter number 9, energy resources. In this chapter, we will be looking at the different types of energy resources. This video is presented by Miss Grecienne Misquitta. The images used in this video are taken from different internet websites. In the previous chapter, we looked at the different types of natural resources. We learned the different types of natural resources like air, water, soil, plants, animals, minerals, as well as land. In this chapter, we are going to look at what is energy resource, the different types of energy resources, and how it is divided into substance-based energy resource and process-based energy resource. Well, students, as you can see, there are 4 images displayed on the screen. In the first image, you can see a girl using the light of a lantern for studying. The second image shows us use of mineral oil. The third image shows us a pinwheel and winnowing, while the fourth image shows us using natural gas as fuel. As you can see, all these are used as different types of energy resources, and most of them are found in their natural form. For example, if you see the second image, the third image, and the fourth image, the mineral oil, pinwheel and winnowing is functioning due to the availability of wind, and the fourth image tells us about natural gas which we get in its absolute form. Energy is basically the capacity for one to function and work, as well as it is required for life processes. One can say an energy resource is something that can produce heat, move objects, produce electricity, etc. Also, matter that stores energy is called a fuel. Man started consuming energy steadily in present times. Early man had very less requirement for energy. It was mostly used for fuel and food. But in today's society, man consumes as much as 110 times as much energy per person as early humans. We engage in various activities to fulfill our needs, for which we need energy. In the past, human labor and animals were used for many tasks. Gradually, man's needs increased, and with it, several changes took place in the use of energy resources and devices. Still, man mainly obtains this energy from nature. Energy resources can be classified in many ways, such as conventional and non-conventional, biotic and abiotic, renewable and non-renewable, substance-based and process-based, etc. The first topic we are going to talk about is substance-based energy resources. It is also known as conventional sources of energy or non-renewable energy resources. We cannot reuse this source of energy after using it once. Thus, we call them conventional or non-renewable energy resources. Examples of this substance-based energy resources are wood, coal, mineral oil, natural gas, waste matter, atoms, etc. Oil is the most widely used source of energy in the world. Substances in this substance-based energy resources do not last forever. Substances get used up and thus one cannot reuse it. It is available and very limited. It takes thousands of years to produce them again. Except for atomic energy, all other resources are biotic in nature. Generation of this energy leads to pollution. Except for atomic energy, all other resources are conventional. Generation of this type of energy is very cheap. It is inflammable, that means it can catch fire. These resources also cause a lot of damage to the environment. The type of power generation get through these resources is thermal. Process-based energy resources is also known as non-conventional energy resources. These resources are pollution-free and hence we can use these to produce a clean form of energy without any wastage. As you know, man consumes a lot of energy and the population today depends more and more on fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and gas. One finds it very important to secure the energy supply for future since the prices of gas and oil keep rising every day. So, we need to use more and more renewable sources of energy. Some examples of process-based energy resources are the sun, wind, water, tides, and heat from the Earth's interior. One can say these natural processes last forever, and these processes are always available to mankind. Reuse is also possible and it is available to all public and not limited as well. All processes are through natural form. Generation of this energy is pollution free. As one can say, all these resources are non-conventional in nature. Developing the technology for the use of these resources will be expensive. But in the long run, these energy resources are environmental friendly. And the type of power generation one can get through this process-based energy resource is thermal and kinetic. One can use these energy resources for obtaining different kinds of power generation, such as hydel power. It is also known as hydroelectric energy, hydroelectric power, or hydroelectricity. It is a form of energy that uses the power of water in motion, such as water flowing over a waterfall, to generate electricity. Now, people have used this force or energy for a century or more. The next power we are going to talk about is thermal power. Thermal power describes how fast heat is produced using fuel. These heat engines create this heat to achieve useful work. Most commonly, thermal power refers to the heat input to a boiler in a power plant in order to generate electricity. The next type of power we are going to look at is atomic power. Nuclear energy is also called as atomic energy. One method of releasing nuclear energy is by controlled nuclear fissions in devices called reactors. Now one knows that these reactors operate in many parts of the world for the production of electricity. The next energy we are going to talk about is geothermal energy. It is a form of energy conversion in which heat energy from within the earth is captured and used for cooking, bathing, space heating, electrical power generation, and other uses. In thermal power stations, it is necessary to burn the energy resources directly to generate electricity. Kinetic energy can also be used to generate power or electricity. Kinetic energy is also known as electrical energy. Electrical energy is caused by moving electric charges called electrons. The faster the charges move, the more electrical energy they carry. Examples of electrical energy or kinetic energy are lightning, batteries, etc. Well, students, did you know the demand for energy is constantly on the rise due to the growing needs of human beings? Solar energy and wind energy are easily available to us. Solar energy is basically the energy that uses the sun to convert its power into energy in order to produce electricity. But the power generated using these resources has to be stored in sufficient quantities to ensure continuous power supply. In present times, it is very expensive to store this type of energy. Effects are on to make these resources affordable through research. Well, students, as discussed before, we know that substance-based energy resources is a source of energy that will eventually get over. Most sources of this type of energy are fossil fuels such as coal, gas, mineral oil, etc. These natural resources are a major source of power for a vast amount of industries. However, there are a lot of negative impacts on the environment due to these non-renewable sources of energy and the fact that they are limited in supply. The different types of substance-based energy resources: wood, coal, oil, natural gas, nuclear energy, etc. As you can see, coal comes from the remains of plants that died hundreds of millions ago. It has the highest level of carbon of all fossil fuels. Oil is also known as petroleum. It can be extracted, that is, taken and removed from, and refined or processed in order to make products such as diesel, jet fuel, etc. One can say wood is considered as humankind's very first source of energy. In present time, it is considered as the most important single source of renewable energy, providing about 6% of the global primary energy supply. Wood fuel is a fuel used such as firewood, charcoal, sheets, sawdust, etc. The particular form used depends upon factors such as source, quantity, quality, and its usage. Today, burning of wood is the largest use of energy from a solid fuel, biomass. In villages, wood is used on a large scale for cooking. The next type of energy source we are going to look at is coal. Long ago, plant and animal remains got buried due to earth movements. They were then decomposed due to pressure and heat, leaving behind the element carbon. That is how coal was formed. Coal is used for different purposes according to its quality. Low quality coal is used for cooking, and high quality coal is used in industries as also in thermal power stations. Coal is primarily used as fuel to generate electric power. The coal is burned and the heat giving off is used to convert water into steam. Certain types of coal can also be used for metallurgical processes, for metal processing, such as forging steel, making steel, melting metals, etc. The next source of energy we are going to talk about is mineral oil. Mineral oil is also known as crude oil. Crude oil is a dark liquid. It is found in reservoirs deep underground. It is also found below the ocean floor. How was this crude oil formed? Millions of years ago, the world's oceans were filled with plants and plankton. When these plants and planktons died, they fell to the bottom of these seas and oceans. Over a millions of years ago, these remains were buried under layers of sand and mud. Heat and pressure turned these remains into oil and natural gas. Oil reserves can be found all over the world, including Saudi Arabia, Russia, United States, Iran, China, etc. The oil is burned to heat water and produce steam. This oil can also be easily transported by a network of pipeline. One can say that oil is a non-renewable source of energy. This means that one day we will probably run out of crude oil. Mineral oil reserves are very limited in nature. However, this oil is in great demand. Hence, its cost is also very high. It is called black gold because it has a blackish color and it is very costly. The next topic we are going to look at is natural gas. In most of the mineral oil wells, reserves of natural gas are also found. Natural gas is the lowest carbon hydrocarbon, odorless, colorless, and non toxic source of energy. It provides warmth for cooking and heating, and it fuels power stations that provide electricity to homes and businesses. It also fuels many industrial processes that produces materials and goods ranging from glass to clothing, as well as it is an important ingredient in products such as paints and plastic. These energy resources are used in thermal power generation. Well, students, the last topic for today's video is biogas. Biogas can be generated from biotic waste materials such as the excreta of animals and dead leaves, shells, etc. This energy can be used for domestic needs such as cooking, heating, water, lighting lamps, etc. Some farmers have raised biogas plants in their own yards to cater to their domestic needs. Students, let's have a quick recap of all the things we learned in today's video. We looked at the meaning of energy resources and the two types of energy resources, that is substance-based energy resources and process-based energy resources. When we looked at substance-based energy resources, we looked at the meaning of substance-based energy resources as well as the different substances or materials that fall under this type of energy resources. We also learned that substance-based energy resource is conventional source of energy and is very limited in nature. The last type of substance-based energy resource we looked at was biogas. We also looked at how biogas is created and produced and can be used by common man. Well, thank you students and hope you enjoyed this video.